So hello people, today we'll be solving LeetCode daily question 119, which is Pascal's triangle 2, and in this we'll be given an integer row index and we have to return the row at that particular index from the Pascal's triangle. And what a Pascal triangle is that each number is the sum of the two numbers which are directly above it. Okay, so let's move to the whiteboard and have a look. So this is the 0th index, first index, second index, third index, and fourth index. Okay. So for the 0th index, we'll be just having 1, and similarly for the first index, we'll be just having 1 and 1. So basically for this index, we need to do a sum which is present at this value, and as nothing is here, so we can just simply consider that here it is 0. So 0 plus 1 is 1. Then for this 2, we need to calculate the sum of this, and then similarly, let's consider here is another 0. So the sum of this and this will be here. Similarly, let's consider another 0 over here. So the sum of this and this should be here. Sum of this and this should be here. This and this should is here, and this, and consider another 0 over here. Okay, 0. This and this should be here. Similarly, again consider a 0 over here. This and this. 1 plus 3 is 4. 3 plus 3 is 6. 3 plus 1 is 4. And then again 1 plus, let's say, 0 is 1. Okay. So this is how we can solve this question. And also just keep one thing in mind that for every starting index we'll be having an 1, and for every ending we'll be having 1. Okay, so now I would like to recommend you that you should firstly solve Pascal's triangle 1, which is a similar kind of question, but in this we will be given number of rows and we have to generate the Pascal's triangle. Okay, so let's code. Let's check how we can approach. The approaches in both the questions is very similar. In this, we just need to return the whole Pascal's triangle up to the number of rows which are given, and in that we need to just return that particular row which is asked in the question. Okay, so now let's move to the approach. Okay, let me have a text box. So firstly, we'll be checking that if number of rows, I'm first solving Pascal's triangle 1. Okay, number of rows in the question, it is given that it is less than or equal to 0. I'll just simply be returning new array list. Okay, new array list, or you can also return new vector depending upon which language you are using. Then I'll be having a list of integers. Okay, let's make it capital and add another bracket and the bracket. Okay, which will be our the answer list. Let's call it answer, and then I'll be simply adding answer dot add array list. Basically, we'll be adding a new array list. Okay, so after that I'll be doing answer dot get, because at the first okay, this is how the list will look like. Black, yeah. So this is how the list will look like. It will be a list of integers. So I've just added this list when I've called this function. Okay, so let's review. So what I'll be doing, I'll be adding answer dot get 0, because at the first index we'll be having an empty array list, and then here we'll be adding 1. So after this the list will look like this. Okay, here 1 will be added. Okay, so now let's add other rows which are asked in the question. Okay, let's use a for loop. For I equal to 1, we'll be starting the loop from 1 because at the 0th index we have already added one row. Okay, I equal to 1 2 I less than number of rows. Okay, uh, yeah, and then here we'll be having, let's say, a temporary list of integers. Temp, let's have it. And similarly, we'll be having a prev list to get, because it is given in the question that we to finding this sum, which is 2, I need this and this, the previous list. Okay, so that's why I'll be fetching the previous list also. So prev would be equal to, from the answer list on ans dot get I minus 1. Okay, so as we know that at the first index we need to add 1, so simply we'll be adding 1, because temp dot add 1. Then I'll be initializing a for loop again for int j equal to 1. Again I'll be initializing the loop from j from 1, because at the 0th index we have already added 1, to j less than I. Then I'll be just simply doing temp dot add by getting prev dot get j minus 1 plus prev dot get j. Okay, so after this loop, I'll be just adding the last index. I'll be ending at the last index 1. Okay, and then I'll be just simply adding this list to our answer list answer dot add temp, and at the end I'll be just simply returning answer list. Okay, so this is how in both the questions we'll be approaching. In just that, the basic difference in between both the questions is we need to return in the Pascal triangle 2, which is the today's question. We need to return the row at that particular index. Like for example, if we are given index as 2, so we need to return this row only. But in this question, we need to return all the rows up to which the question is asked. Okay, so this is how we'll be approaching both the questions. So let's code it. Firstly, we'll be coding the passive triangle 1. Okay, so just a second. So yeah, let's continue with the coding part. So first the basic, that if number of rows is less than or equal to 0, what we'll be doing, we'll be simply returning new array list. Okay, so then what we have to do, uh, then let's create a list of integer list is equal to new array. Oh, okay, let's name this list as answer. Okay, just a second. Yeah, it's recording. Then uh, let's list our answer dot add new array list, then list answer dot get 0 dot add 1. So that's the base case. Like we'll be adding 1 at the 0th index, and there will be only one element, that will be 1. Okay, then let's run a for loop, and I equal to 1, I less than number of rows, num rows. Okay, I plus plus. Then let's create a temporary list of integer temp would be equal to new array list, and similarly prev will be equal to ans dot get I minus 1, because we need the previous list to compute our current row, previous row to compute our current row. Okay, so then temp dot add 1, because that's the base case, like the first element will always be 1. Okay, then what we have to do, then basically just a for loop again, and j equal to 1, j less than I, j plus plus. Okay, then simply temp dot add prev dot get j minus 1 plus prev dot get j. Okay, and after this we'll be again adding 1 because our last element should also be 1. Temp dot add 1. Then what we'll be doing, we'll be on adding this temporary list to the answer. Okay, then just return answer. So this is how the first question would be solved. Okay, yeah, it's accepted, and now let's just submit this. Okay, in this question, it is accepted. As you can see, in this question, we had to return all the possible all the rows which were given, but in today's question, we just have to return the particular row. So we'll not be storing all the rows. We'll just be updating the row which has been last computed. So let's start with just creating. I guess if you use this code also, then it would also work. You just simply have to return ans.get and it will also work. Okay, let's try. This might give us error or something like that, uh, but uh, that's it's not a optimized way of doing this, because in this we'll be unnecessarily using the space and calculating all the possible rows. Okay, row index, and here ans dot get okay, less than, not less than, less than equal to, or less than equal to row index, and row index. I guess this should work. Yeah, it works, but for some cases, okay, as yeah, it will work, but I don't think, okay, case 2 is that we just need to return new error list of dot add. Okay, let's do it here. If row index is, maybe just be returning here, return list. Oh, okay, here just let's do less than 0 and not this condition. Okay, it's just less than 0 because that's not possible. Mm, yeah, this works, and this one might not. Yeah, it works, but it uses a lot of memory, which is okay, let's try to optimize the memory. Okay, let's reset this code, and you can see that the time it runs in 1 millisecond and memory it uses is 40 MB. Okay, around. So let's zoom in first. Okay, so now let's start with the solution. Let's declare a list of integer. Let's name it answer equal to new array list. Then list dot add 1, simply because the base case we'll be adding 1 always. Then what we'll be doing, we'll be running a okay, let's declare a variable I equal to 1, and while I is less than equal to basically row index. What we'll be doing, let's have another list, a list of integer, temp equal to new array list. Okay, then temp dot add 1, again because the first element of every row will be 1. Then for in j equal to 1, j less than I, j plus plus. What we'll be doing, we'll be doing temp dot add ans dot get j minus 1, plus ans, because always our answer list would be the last list. Okay, ans dot get j, uh, ans dot get j, then again temp dot add 1, then let's make our answer equal to the current row, then I plus plus, and at the end we'll be just simply returning answer. Okay, in this we'll not be storing all the rows, we'll just be calculating and updating our answer variable. Okay, list dot add by mistake. Okay, answer dot add. Accepted. Now let's submit it. Yeah, okay, there's not much difference, but yeah, this is how you should approach the question. There might be some error issue on the server side, but this will be a much space optimized approach to solve this question. The time complexity will be the same because we have to anyways reach that particular row. So, but the space will be much optimized. There might be server side issue some. That's where the memory is not improved. Okay, so this was it for today. Thank you for watching.